ECOG 2024 in the beautiful city of Ghent. I hope you really enjoy the city as well as the conference. It's the 33rd conference of ECOG, and please note that the very first one was also in Belgium. At that time I was in the beginning of my career, and I was a lucky one to attend the conference, the very first one in Brussels. For those who do not know ECOG very well, what is ECOG? We are the European Child Obesity Group, and a very important aim of ECOG is to translate the research into daily practice. And what for me is one of the most important things is that children do not choose for the status. And once they are realizing they have too much weight, it's too late. So we all have a big responsibility to help these children. They cannot do it without us.
Hello everyone, and thanks so much Caroline and David and all the ECOG committee. Thanks so much for the invitation. It's a real honour to be here. As Caroline mentioned, I think I went to my first ECOG in 2006, and it really has been an amazing group of people to help you thrive when you're starting off in this area, which is a very hard area to work in, I would say, in general, and for many, many reasons. So I'm a physiotherapist by background in paediatrics, and I currently work in Temple Street, which is one of the Dublin's children's hospitals. It was founded in 1872.
Cut from the end, a trail in the underpass, fall on your feet.
I think we have to close the session. Oh, Elisabeth Bosket, actually you are the one of the foundations of ECOG. You was here in Brussels the very first time, so you get the final word.
Please raise up, let me see you. Thank you. I hope my age will allow me to ask a stupid question. I mean, you talk about education and that sort of thing, but how do you liaise with schools? Because it always seems important not to pick the child out so that they're bullied or that kind of thing, and yet what happens in school is vitally important. At my school, fat children were sent to special gym classes and that kind of thing, so we all knew there was something wrong with them. Thank you.
Yeah, I can totally agree with you, Elizabeth. And when we've done work with our youth advisory group of kids, they've said the exact same thing. You can't single these kids out. So it really is the more structural, environmental aspects of making sure that there's no vending machines, making sure that there's healthy eating policies in schools, making sure there's a culture of active travel to the school, that bullying is taken seriously, that teasing is taken seriously, and then
We started the European Childhood Obesity Congress about 30 years ago, and it's interesting how things change. But talking today about texture foods, I felt we don't always consider how long it takes to eat a particular food. If you think of fruit and vegetables, which we stress so much, they require quite a lot of chewing, and that takes time. And I think the trouble today often is that small children aren't really encouraged to learn how to chew. And if you think of something like this, which you have to peel, the process of eating this takes quite a bit of time. So at the end of it, you're sort of conscious of having something to eat. Whereas if you'd had it as orange juice, you could have thrown it down like that.
So to start, what are the 5 A's? The 5 A's are a scaffolding or a framework for an assessment and management of pediatric obesity. And your A's start with ask, assess, advise, agree, assist. And it's important, I think, that we do those things in that particular order, and that we continue to revisit the A's throughout the lifespan, given the chronicity of the condition that we're managing. We recognize that obesity management is about improving health and quality of life of the children that we're seeing.
One of the major challenges that we have nowadays is how do we implement things. So we have research we have guidelines, we have policies and so on, but the implementation. And I think that is really the strength of this group, where you can really go into the field of implementation. And implementation science is kind of rather new. Not a lot of research groups and not a lot of research domains really take that into account.
So now it's a pleasure to me to introduce Dr. Julie Latome. She's from Ghent University. She has a master in theoretical psychology, as well as a PhD in sports science. When we talk about families and organization of activities, we often rely on mothers, but I think it's extremely important to also rely on fathers, and there have been a few decades ago some data showing that fathers play a really important role in promoting physical activity during the weekends, and so I'm really looking forward to hear Julie about the project, the Run project, and so the floor is yours, Julie.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about enhancing physical activity and limiting sedentary behavior in children, and I will specifically focus on the role of the father. As you might all know, there are several lifestyle behaviors that are essential for promoting a healthy lifestyle and preventing obesity in children, but there are 3 key behaviors which I will focus on today. So we have physical activity, sedentary behavior, including screen time, and dietary habits. But of course, we also thought about changes related to the COVID intervention. So we included a questionnaire questioning all kind of things of the impact of COVID. And indeed, it's true that they had indeed more time to be physically active. But still, the increase was higher in the intervention group as compared to the control. So it was still positive.
Such a variety in how people are, who people are, what they want, what they eat, and what they need also. And that looks very simple, but it isn't simple. It's not only in food consumption and in motion in sports, but also in how many hours does they sleep. Yeah? Also in how they feel about stress and emotion regulation, how they cope with it, how they feel about body image in the family, how much time they spend on social media. It are very, very typical themes that often we forget, but that are the fundamental things here in the approach.
First, we want 3 minutes now for the poster prizes. As you know, there were 66 posters and 6 of them were selected. Congratulations. We will now have the stakeholders and the policymakers here in a round table. And this is, of course, a next step that we can ask them how to progress. Can we do more in the combat of childhood obesity? Specifically, my thanks to Mr. Frank van den Broek to be here. It's very busy time, but for us in Belgium, I think he did a really great job for finding funding.
Thank you, Caroline Braat, for your very kind words about the policies we are developing. We are indeed putting obesity and child obesity higher on the agenda, but I should say that it's an uphill battle, it's not easy. If you say you want to have a specific approach helping children confronted with overweight and obesity, you need a multidisciplinary approach, you need integration of care with general practitioners, clinical psychologists, people who give dietary counseling. So I'm very pleased with what I heard in the previous session here, that there is an alternative discourse on this, which is about children's rights. It's about positive rights of children. I think we should
I should develop that. I think it's important to change the narrative and to get away from this nanny state kind of accusation.
Why it's so crucial that we give more autonomy to the local municipalities. We have not so much money, so we have to make choices, but it's very important that we make the right choices, and therefore we need the right data.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's now an honor, it's a great honor to close this ECOG 2024 conference. Now I can only thank 41 speakers who came by their own means, as we were a non-sponsored organization. I think that's important for ECOG that we were independent, and of course this panel. Thank you very much.